protagonists across the series are some pretty colorful characters, questionable moralities, lack of parental figures, and addictions to bloodshed. 3 staple aspects to each of the Drakengard protagonists. Before getting into the weapon stories, I want to clarify one thing. 2B starting weapon, Virtuous Contract, will not be included in this video, because I want to make a separate video discussing the entire Virtuous set of weapons. I will be including NieR's Nameless Blade, because to be honest, this would probably be the only chance I get to discuss that weapon, since it's not tied to a specific set of weapons. But the weapon NieR's Blade in Drakengard 3 will not be discussed because I already included that in my video about the Iron Pipe weapon stories, since that weapon story resonates with the other Iron Pipe stories across the series. Now let's start with the first weapon used across the entire series, Caim's sword. In Drakengard, the weapon story tells of Caim's life before the events of the game. A gift to Caim from his beloved father. Since he was a young child, Caim had idolized his gentle father and longed to fight strongly and bravely in battle beside him. But the dark shadow of the Empire fell over their peaceful kingdom. The Empire grew stronger and stronger, until one day, Caim's castle was attacked by Imperial Black Dragons. "Caim, take Fourier and flee!" so ordered Caim's father. But even before Caim was able to answer, his parents were slain before his very eyes. Clutching the sword that was a gift from his father, Caim swore upon it revenge for the loss of his kingdom and the murder of his parents. Even now, an unquenchable rage still fills his heart. Drakengard 2's version of Caim's sword tells what happens with his life after Drakengard's ending A. 18 years ago, when the world faced destruction, a human and a dragon dared to fight the gods. In the end, the dragon gave her life to save the world. Left behind, the man wandered the desolate lands, his heart full of sorrow. Accompanying him on his journey was the very same girl who brought mankind to the brink of extinction. Betraying the alliance he formed during the war, the old hierarch altered the seal to increase the dragon's burden. When the wandering man felt the dragon's agony, the girl sensed his distress and made her escape. Alone again, his mind was consumed by thoughts of vengeance, and his hollow soul burned with bloodlust once more. Caim hunted down the treacherous hierarch, ignoring his pleas for mercy. He killed him with a single blow. However, Caim's efforts were in vain. The seal was permanently altered. The burden was tearing the dragon's mind apart, so the world's former savior faced a similar choice. But this time, Caim would choose the dragon over the world. Caim and Angelus were finally reunited. When all the keys to the seal had been broken, once more, the world faced destruction, but at least they were together, complete. They vowed then never to part again, a vow they kept until the end. After that, only Caim's sword remained in the doomed world. Caim's sword was also a DLC weapon in Drakengard 3, telling of his experiences training with it. There once was an awkward prince who found love, politics, and even general interactions difficult. His only comfort was practicing swordplay in the courtyard. After 100 days of practice, he began to feel stronger. As this strength turned to confidence and washed away his anxieties, the prince devoted himself to mastering the sword. After 1,000 days of practice, he forgets the stress of politics and intrigue. Such things only brought lies and betrayal, but his sword never did. After 10,000 days of practice, he realized his sword might free him from all the stress if he entrusted everything to it. Alas, he was only running away from his problems. Nowe's sword is strangely not the first weapon used in Drakengard 2. You instead find it in Chapter 4, verse 4, when trying to save mana. This sword belonged to the hero called Iron Dragon of the Two Swords. It was a gift from a female knight who trained him for his first battle. It saved the lives of many, including the Iron Dragon. He cherished it as though it was his own body. One day, Iron Dragon entered Hidden Land. Led by a priest's divine guidance, There, he met a dragon who spoke the words of men and a child who spoke the words of dragons. Iron Dragon knew right away that this must be the legendary savior and asked for custody of the boy. But the dragon sneered. "What right have you to take this child from his father? What could you possibly offer him?" And Iron Dragon replied, "I shall become the child's father. Without knowledge of human ways, this child would grow to become a wingless dragon, a pointless creature. I vow to raise him to be a fine knight, so it is a future that I offer the child." Amused, the dragon said, "Fine. You shall take the child, but I shall come with him, for only I can teach him the ways of dragons." Iron Dragon agreed, and presented his sword as a token of his pledge. The dragon sneered at the foolish human gesture, and threw the sword into his lair, the only world his child had ever known until then. Zero's blade in Drakengard 3 describes her suffering throughout life. "From the moment I was born, there was nothing. That's how I wound up with the name Zero. I tried and failed to find value in my life. Even religion failed me, for I would have sooner fought and killed a god than pray to it. I took lives and felt nothing. I killed without regret. Right, wrong, sin, redemption. I couldn't even work up the urge to care. Like a child, I waited and hoped for the moment when this sad shell of a life would finally be over." Zero's blade was also a NieR reincarnation during the Drakengard 3 collaboration. It tells of her life in the brothel when she first became friends with Indigo. "I had nothing. Ever since my mother sold me off, I was the woman every eye turned from. But I got used to it. I humored men and took their pittances, and that soon became my life. Eventually I met a girl. She called me Rose because of my eyes, and I called her Indigo because of hers. The moment I saw her, I felt like something new was born within me. Indigo suggested we steal some money and run away, and I agreed. I felt like we could take on the world together, so when the hour grew late, we took everything we could and fled the city. But then a man appeared and took the money. Don't hate me for this, Rose," said Indigo as she left with her partner in crime. My heart was broken, and all I could taste was cold and sweet. The starting weapon doesn't seem to have any close relations to NieR. The closest thing I can think about was how this weapon could have been forged in his village, with the last entry revealing the truth about shades. Smash, 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 smash. Sweat rolls down the faces of horde-scrabble men as they chip away at ironstone. Their cheerful singing echoes through the mine. We are workers, workers in the mine. Dirty from tip to toe. Again today, we search for iron with all our might. Smash, 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 smash. Boom, 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 boom. The sound of women stomping on bellows in the mill. The sound of iron being gathered from the scorched sands. We are workers, workers in the mill, workers who send wind. Today we stomp the bellows again with all our might. Boom, 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 boom. Clang, 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 clang. The sound of swordsmiths wielding hammers at their forges. The ringing of such transformative blows is stunning indeed. We are swordsmiths, swordsmiths who bring blades to life. Lords of steel. Clang, 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 clang. Rip, 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 rip. The sound of flesh being rent on the battlefield. The sound of killing enemies, killing someone, killing humans. Someone help me. It hurts. It hurts so much. Help me, Mommy. Rip, 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 rip.